Happy, magnificent, marvelous, magical, motivational, well, money making motivational Monday to all of you. Hopefully, you've had a great start of your Monday. I know people probably like, why is she always so? Somebody asked me that, why am I always in a good mood? But what other way should I be? Like they say, like I'm faking it or something. Like you shouldn't always act like you're okay. I mean, so I'm supposed to just walk around like everything is all bad? No, I'm going to feel the way that I want to feel, even if I'm feeling bad. So that's just how I feel about it. So we're gonna talk about it today. I don't want to sign in right now. Can you go away? Um, so yeah, I well, first and foremost, hopefully everybody had a great weekend. I had some fun this weekend. I went to a costume party. Well, shout out to Sitting Pretty Event Studios. If y'all don't know, Carlin Forbes is one of him and his lovely wife are the owners of that establishment, and they have a lot of different events there. So you definitely should check out Sitting Pretty Event Studios in Westland, Michigan. We had a good time. And I'm gonna post another video of something that I did at the party. I know a lot of people saw. I need to post it on my YouTube short. My outfit, my ninja outfit. I was a ninja, so I know, like Halloween, all the things that's behind it and everything is terrible. But I just like just having fun, dressing up, and having a good time. No, I'm not no type of worshiper of any demonic sources or anything like that. I don't look at it in that way. Just going up, dressing up, and having a good time. Just being in character of somebody else because I'm a character. So why not be a character? So I am. I was a ninja. So hopefully you had a great weekend. I know it was a lot of parties and things. A lot of people went to Cedar Point because it's the last weekend they're going to be open. You know, and everything like that. I'm gonna have to catch them next when they open up next spring. So definitely gonna do that. But let's talk about it today. My name is Toria Howard. I am an educator first. Yes, yes, yes. I am a middle school English teacher. I teach reading to sixth through eighth grade, but I'm a real estate professional and I do financial literacy and business funding for people as well. So I wear a lot of hats. But today I'm going to talk about my new publication that I have coming out. It's been in the works for a while, so it will be coming out soon. It is a step by step, non Googleable. Look, I just made a word guide to home ownership, and I'm going to talk about different facets of it today and all throughout the week until I launch it. And I want you to tell me how valuable would it be for you to have a guide that gives you step by step instructions on how to buy a house the right way, thinking like an investor? What do you think is the value of that? It's not something that you can Google. I'm not going to be talking about, well, you have to go to the mortgage company, you get a pre approval, and you have to go and find a real estate agent. All that stuff you can Google, right? The home buying process. I'm talking about the real down, deep, dirty beginning part of the process that a lot of people don't like to talk about or teach people about because a lot of people think like because when you Google it, it just says, okay, steps to home ownership. You go to a mortgage company, you go find a real estate agent, you get your pre-approval. Well, you can find a mortgage company, you get your pre-approval, find a real estate agent, start shopping for a home, put in a contract. Yes, that's a part of the process. But what about the people that don't know how to get qualified to even get to those steps? It's so many steps before then. First and foremost, it's a mindset thing. You have to get your mind tuned in to wanting to be a homeowner. And my guide is going to talk about that and more. But today, um, I'm going to talk about what the tiers are. So I'm going to add this back into my guide because people need to understand it's a mindset thing. I'm going to add that. You have to get your mind together and set to buy a home, right? A lot of people just want to jump out there and just be like, oh, I'm gonna buy a home. Yes, you can do that. But sometimes you have to understand that this whole process, it is a process. And you need to make sure that you have the proper people in place, you ask the right questions, and you are in a mindset to start the process. Okay. Because you have to think differently than any type of other purchase that you ever thought of, especially in this economy. Now, the Fed is about to, they said the Fed is about to slow down raising rates. So that means possibly interest rates are going to go down, but they're not going to go down to 2%, 3%, or anything like that. And a lot of people don't even understand that even though if you buy a house at the 8%, if you buy it right, if you buy the house right, you won't be paying 8% on the back end. Okay. It just might look like that up front. And if you learn your amortization schedule, you can pay that mortgage off quicker. But let's talk about the banks, right? A lot of people don't understand what they need to have. Your credit profile is so important, right? I've talked to so many mortgage professionals that have been doing this for years. And yes, you're supposed to have a good credit score. But if you don't have the right banks, the right accounts on your credit report, you're, it's going to be a hard time for you getting qualified. So I talk about in my guide that I'm going to put out here soon that you must check your FICO scores. People don't even understand the difference between a FICO score, okay, and an Advantage score. Credit Karma gives you your Advantage score. It's like a glimpse of what your credit score could be. It could be higher, it could be lower. So if you're banking your credit score off of Credit Karma, you're going to be disappointed when you go to a creditor that uses FICO scores, which you can find on Experian, My FICO, Smart Credit, and one of our products, which is Ultra Score. You're going to be disappointed because it could be lower than what is on Credit Karma. And a lot of times, let me turn my other light on. Forgot. Sorry. Like it look a little dark. But anyway, so a lot of people get upset about that. But you have to know the difference between a Vantage score and a FICO score. So that's the first and foremost thing. And you have to know all three. You have to know all three of your credit reports. Because a lot of times, some of the things don't report to all three. From my experience, a lot of people do not use Equifax. So you might have more on your Experian than you do on your Equifax. And a lot of people use TransUnion. So you might have a lot more on your TransUnion than you do on your Experian. So you have to know who's report, like your creditors and where they're reporting to. But you need to know all three. So as far as the banks and the creditors that you need on your credit report, make sure that you understand that the banking system comes in tiers, right? You have tiers of the 1 through 5. One representing, you know, well, it all depends, like how you look at it. So, tier 1, it's like the starter cards, right? Those are like tier 1 cards. Tier 5 cards are the ones that, are like invitation only, right? You have to be making a certain amount of money to be able to, um, do so. But even though you have those tiered cards, they still have a name behind them, right? And a lot of people don't want to start where they are. And I don't understand that part. So if you need to get a secured card for right now, this is the thing. You need to get it from a reputable bank, either a credit union, because the mortgage companies love credit unions, and or one of the top tier banks, the Bank of Americas, the Chase, the Navy Federals, the Wells Fargo, those type of banks. Now, I talk to a lot of people that bank with Chime, and if you don't have a bank, first of all, let's talk about this. If you don't have a bank account that is from a bank that is recognized, That's a red flag right there because banks have their own credit system in a sense. So if you owe a bank, it won't be on your credit report. What they'll do is they have a back end system where they will tell all the other banks that, hey, this person owes us, so don't give them a bank account. So you need to be mindful of that as well. If you owe a bank and then you have to go and get some of these other bank accounts like Chimes and all of them, I'm sorry to say, a lot of mortgage companies don't like Chime. A lot of people use it to build credit. It's it's a starter, but you have to have a plan in place to replace Chime, after you start building up. So you need to make sure that you have a bank account with a bank that's recognized first and foremost. And then let's talk about the tiers. So if you have to start somewhere, Capital One is a great bank. Capital One Platinum is one of the it, it's one of the easiest, hardest cards to get. And I say that because you can get a Capital One Platinum card for with like a 630, 650 credit score, right? Chase Slate, and City Simplicity and Discover secure cards are all in there, in that 630 to 650 range, right? So you can start there. Then you can go to the next level where you have American Express everyday cards. That's tier two, right? American Express has so many different products that they, they have tiers to theirs too. So American Express has one called Everyday Card. American Express, it doesn't matter, what the card is. It's about your, your limit, right, and how much you spend. American Express, having American Express on your credit report is just, it's like having like a, A1 altogether. Just having that bank name on there. So you can start with American Express Everyday Card, Chase Freedom Unlimited, and City Double Cash, and Discover It cards. Those are between the 650 to 680 range. Then the tier threes, mid-tier cards, you have American Express Green Card, the Bank of America Platinum Rewards Card, Capital One Venture Card, because Capital One has multiple cards as well. And then you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Those is when you in that upper 600s to like that 700 range, like first hitting the 700s. Tier four is the premium cards, right? You have the American Express Platinum cards, Chase Sapphire Reserve, because Chase has two Sapphires. One is the regular Sapphire, and the other one is the Reserve. And then you have the Capital One Venture X, right? So, like I said, Capital One used to be, one of those ones that people be like, they on the borderline, but Capital One has moved up in their tiers. So you have to make sure that you are making sure that you have that type of credit. Now, those credit lines are for people like in that 700, like 720, 740 range and up. Now, when you get up to the tier five, okay, when you're talking about American Express Century Centurion card and the Amex Black card. Okay. That's what you're talking about here, the upper echelon. Okay. But start where you are and don't be afraid to do so, because a lot of these banks that are on this list that I have in my publication that I'm going to send out to you, you can start at that 600, mid 600 range and get these good banks on your credit report. Now, if you are at a credit union, like if you're a teacher, firefighter, police officer, you're type of service person, service member, you got Navy Federal, what's the other one? I can hear the commercial in my head. Um, oh, um, the other one that the military use, I can't think of it right now. If you have a good credit union that's well known, national credit union, those are top tier cards as well. Getting their products, Navy Federal has tier cards as well. They start off, you can start with their secured card in Navy Federal. And the good thing about Navy Federal that I like is because if you get a secure card with Navy Federal, they're one of the fastest banks to turn around your secure card to unsecured credit card. What I mean by that is, if you don't know what secure card means, secured is you put your own money up first to get the credit card. Okay. So I always tell my clients, I mean, if you can start off with 500, that's okay. But $1,000, save up $1,000 to put on that secured card is the best. The higher your limits, the faster your credit score is going to go up, and the better you're going to look on paper to the mortgage companies, right? To the mortgage lenders. So the higher the limits. So I mean, if you, some of you that are going to get these fat refund checks, these tax refunds, and you need to fix your credit, and you're in that 580 range, 560, 580 range, and you need to get a secured card, Navy Federal, one of the best ones. Put some money on there and use that like your debit card, and pay that stuff off. Buy your groceries, pay your phone bill, do all those things you do with your debit card. With that card, pay it off, and guess what? Navy Federal will turn that secured card that you did put your money up into an unsecured credit card, where it be a regular credit card, okay, and it's going to appear on your credit report within 6 months. 6 months, they will do that for you within 6 months. But you definitely have to have a relationship. And that's the thing. You have to have a relationship with these banks in order to get their products. They love for you to deposit money into their account and all of that. And if they see that you're actively putting money into their banks, they will, offer you products and help you build your, especially credit unions. They'll give you ideas and tips on how to build your credit and all of that. But you need to make sure that when you're doing the secure route, that you put enough on there. Like I said, minimum 1,000. Navy Federal turns theirs around. Navy Federal turns their secure card around within 6 months. One of the fastest ones I've seen. I know it's another one that it does 3 months, but it's not really a well-known bank. So I would definitely start there. It's another one I'm thinking of. Starts with a B. I'm gonna get it in a minute. But they're good as well. When I get it, I'm gonna say it. Theirs turn around, I think in a year. And Bank of America's, their secure credit card turns around in a year to a secured credit card. And I think all the other banks does as well. But just check and see. Ask the questions, right? When you have these relationships, you have Chase is popping up, especially in Memphis. Chase is popping up everywhere. I will go in there. Call on the phone is fine, but you want those people to know you. So I will go in there and ask questions about their products and what they have and what their minimums and what you need, and get that relationship going so they know your face. So when it's time for you to get other products, business products, home loans, car loans, all those type of things, then they'll say, "Hey, Toria, I know you. Come on over here," and they'll be more susceptible of pushing that through. It's all about relationships too. So I did talk about the top tier banks from 1 to 5. So, making sure that you have these top tier banks on your credit report will for sure help you get approved for your mortgage. And I talk more about that in my first time home buyer guide, things that you can't Google. Okay. I might put that as a subtitle. So that's what I'm talking about today. I am putting out a publication of a first time home buyer guide that gives you instructions on how to structure your finances, how to, what banks need to go on your credit reports, what questions to ask these professionals so that you know that they are for you. Because a lot of people they just pick people because I'm with this bank, I'm going to just pick them. No. You can have multiple accounts with different banks and choose, and you don't even have to have a account with a bank in order to use it for your home mortgage. You just need to know their programs, their systems, and who the people are. If you don't like their demeanor, if you don't like their disposition, then that might be somewhere you need to go. You need to go elsewhere, because attitude matters too. But I talk about all of that in my publication. But today I was just talking about the banks that you need to have on your credit report. because that is so essential. And start where you are. Nothing wrong with starting with a secured card from a top tier bank, Navy Federal, Bank of America. I know Capital One has a secured card. Chase has a secured card. So starting there, Discover has a secured card. But the thing is about Discover, it's a little bit harder. Capital One has moved up a little bit more in the ranks um, than Discover. People are more, because people are more using the Visa and Mastercard. So Capital One has moved up there, and they have a lot of different products. And with Capital One will graduate you quicker if you pay them. I know, because I have a Capital One. They will graduate you really quickly without you even having to do anything. That's one thing about Capital One that I like. They will increase your credit limit without telling you. You will one day be like, oh, and they'll do it if you're doing right by them. If you're paying on time and you're actually using it, they will increase your limit quicker. I know that because I have them. So you need to make sure that you're doing those things. But a lot of Chase does it too, because I had a Chase card before. They tried to play me before, but I had talked about that before when I was trying to when I bought my home back in 2010. But Chase does it too. They'll move you up quickly too. And if you have a business, Chase is a great bank to have on your profile to help you with your business as well. So I just wanted to preview my publication I'm going to put out. First time home buyer guide, things you can't Google, right? Because I've studied this. These is things that I have went through myself becoming a homeowner. I was a homeowner for 10 years. I was a homeowner for 10 years. I'm thinking about my teaching career. I was a homeowner for 10 years, and I know the things that I've done that was a mistake and the things that I did right. So I'm putting that all into my guide, which I'm going to be putting out here soon. So let me know how much value you think that will be for you to be able to have something that you can actually hold, that you can actually see, that you can actually study in order to buy a home right. Because I'm going to tell you how to do that, and not just find a mortgage broker. I mean, find a mortgage loan officer, get a pre-approval, find a real estate. It goes way beyond that. I talk about the banks, how to budget, how to save, how to pay off your debt in a smart way, all of that. And any of you that have worked with me, because I know, Faithfully Her, she's not on here anymore, but I'll put her testimony back up. But I helped her. She's a homeowner now. And I told her some tips and tricks on how to pay off her debt and how to increase her credit. And she was a homeowner. Within 6 months, she was ready, but she had to save a little bit more money for the program. That's why another thing I'm going to be talking about is, saving the money. You have to have a nest egg, a savings, even if you're using first time home buying programs. So I bid you adieu, and I'll come to you tomorrow with something else, some tips and tricks on how to buy a home the proper way, things you can't Google. Um, that a lot of professionals might not know. If you get with the right professional like myself, they will know these things. But this publication that I'm putting out is going to be stuff that, like I said, it's going to be stuff that you can't Google about the home buyer process, home ownership process. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the banks. I'm going to show you how to, get to those banks, all of that. So I'll see you tomorrow for Real Estate Tuesday. We're going to dive back into this a little bit further and give you some more tips and tricks. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a blessed day.